Don't you dare for 1 second think you're gonna click on that X button. It will be one of the biggest mistakes of your lives. Why? Well, because Star Wars Galaxy Heroes is doing a bunch of giveaways. We got free crystals. People are even getting 7-star pirates for FREE free. And yesterday marked the final day of the last marquee pirate, Captain Silvo. We're gonna talk about all these pirates now that they're in Galaxy of Heroes, what they look like before you get your hands, well, maybe your hands on Hondo as well as Maz Kanata. Let's get down to business. All right, so real quick, before we talk about Captain Silvo and the pirates, please do not make this mistake, because it's very hard to get these to pop up again because of the sheer genius of Capital Games. And I know it's second nature and you play these mobile games just to close it out. These are not the ones you need to close out. Unlike Obi-Wan saying these are not the ones you're looking for. No, these are the ones you're looking for.
These are the pop-ups you are looking for.
For a limited time, you can get for free 1,000 crystals. This is a screenshot on my free-to-play account. I almost closed out of it. No strings attached, no nothing. Boom, 1,000 crystals. And that's not like, it's only 110 crystals, whatever. This is a big deal. 1,000 crystals goes a long way. And then they have a variety of pirate packs as well. Basically, one free marquee pack that's given out to everybody. Again, pop-up only. Unfortunately, I was not blessed with good RNG. The prophecy has foretold this moment of 5775. 5775. Vayne, I got myself 7 shards, and Brutus, I purposely did not collect it. And we're going to talk about how that's a boo-boo. But please don't close out of these. 0.1% of you guys could hit the mother load and get a 330 shard drop like this person. But you know what also is pretty amazing? Our sponsor for today! Holy cow, this is one of the most hyped things Raid Shadow Legends has done. As you guys know, I've been playing Raid Shadow Legends hardcore for a year, collected a bunch of champions, but today, I really mean it, that this is the best time to join Raid Shadow Legends. A big thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's video, and a special thanks to Paramount as well, because Paramount is partnering with Raid Shadow Legends. They're doing the craziest crossover of all time. They are bringing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game, and they're even giving away some of these champions for FREE free, baby! Between August 21st and November 13th, you'll be able to get Michelangelo completely free. All you need to do is just log in 7 days, not even consecutively, and you'll get this guy for free. Donatello is going to be the fusion champion. And then they're going to have summoning events to get the others. Leonardo, Raphael, April, Shredder through limited time events. And you'll be able to fight Shredder as well in a limited time event dungeon to get a new exclusive gear. Use my link down below, scan the QR code, and you'll get for free 4 champions. With these 4 champions, free Michelangelo, and using one of these promo codes in the first 48 hours as a new player, you are going to have an insanely explosive start in this game. All right, so in case you were someone that accidentally clicked away from this offer, which, by the way, these free offers are only given to people without 7-star pirates. So if you're a 7-star owner, like my pirates are minus Silvo, and I'm going to bring up an issue I'm having with that, you're not going to see it. This is for everyone without a 7-star of the new pirates. However, the problem is I purposely skipped out on this one. I clicked X because I wanted to see how else can I get it. And, well, unfortunately, I can't get the pack to pop up again. Gosh, they do something good, but it's in the most idiotic way possible. Like, it's so bad to make something good convenient. They have to make it an inconvenience. Oh yeah, don't forget about this. 10 Mark II ability mats. Don't spend them all in one place. But I can't find these packs anywhere in the store. I can't also force the pack to come back. I've rebooted the game a few times. I backed out and the pop-up doesn't show up. I've also, maybe opened up a Bronzium pack. Maybe that would provoke it to maybe reoccur after it's like, hey, you're opening packs. Do you want to open up this one too? Nothing, unfortunately. And I even looked on the web store, and it's not on the web store on top of that, which sucks. I want to say, I can't promise this, it's going to pop up again because I made this mistake in previous free packs they gave away, and eventually it shows its face again. And a lot of people are having problems with this. Some people claim if you just open up the store and back out, it'll force the pop-up. It has not worked for me. Some people said it worked for them, so CG, can you just make it like a pack on your store that I can just click and get, or go on the web store and make it redeemable? Why are we doing this like whack-a pop-up thing? Oh man, especially when you program this to close it out. Maybe that's the whole psychology behind this. They want to train us not to close their packs and buy their offers that pop up. And And I have not seen the pack yet, even for my Captain Silvo on my main account. So as we mentioned before, there's not really any incentive anymore to buy a character 7 stars day 1 because you can take him to relic levels. And let me tell you this, a 7-star relic 5 Silvo isn't really all that much different from a relic 4 6-star Silvo. No need to spend the extra $100, $200, whatever it is. But I did not get the pack to pop up on my PC client. Here, you know what? Let me see if I can open up on my HoloPad here for my main account. I don't know, my HoloPad, it popped up the marquee pack. Come on, focus. Let me see if I close that out. Will it get me? No, so I don't know. Maybe it's only for people below 6 stars. I'm not sure what the logic is behind this pack. Yeah, it's not popping up for me. I don't know, man. So anyways, hopefully this is a PSA in case you haven't opened up your game yet for the day. Just be very mindful of your pop-ups. And if you clicked out of it, hopefully it pops up again. Just, again, be careful. And more importantly, may the odds be ever in your favor. And you can get a 330 charge up like some other folks out there. Anyways, with all that said, I want to talk briefly about these pirates. Now that we kind of have the whole gang here right before we get Hondo, and we're still a few more weeks away from Maz Kanata. So first, before we talk about Silvo and the whole situation regarding pirates, for those that are modding the pirates right now, here's a quick graphic provided by Pimpo for Captain Silvo. Kind of some cool stuff as we're going to talk about. Long story short, you want to make this guy incredibly fast. He is sort of going to be the Moff Gideon for the pirates with all the turn meter gains and control that he has. And that's really the main focus, having speed on him all day, baby. And if you want help with your roster, reach out to Pimpo. Here's his contact information. He'll give you personalized advice for your roster, and he can even remod your roster from top to bottom. You guys have maybe noticed this has probably been the first like real faction. I just haven't really made videos kind of reviewing them because there's not much to review, and it's kind of a twofold issue. But at the end of the day, it comes down to, regardless of the era and the fact that I think it was a bad move to do 2 back-to-back pirate conquests, creating 2 brand new pirate teams that can't really be used, and the fact that these pirates without Maz Kanata and Hondo, they're not really doing anything too special. And a lot of them were territory war focused Omicrons and whatnot, and really had 1 Grand Arena Omicron. A lot of bad stuff that they did. But putting all that aside, whether you love or hate pirates, that doesn't matter for the context of a larger problem with this game. It's just, there's not really much to talk about. Hey, we got a pirate. Oh, you can't use them for anything. They're not plug and play. All right, we'll check in a few more months when we get Maz and Hondo and the other conquest units, whatever. And this is just a larger problem with PvP content in this game. Territory Wars, very much so, and even a little bit for Grand Arena. The game only appreciates so many teams, and it's a very tight window. When you got things like, well, 9 Galactic Legends, soon to be 10. Things like Balins, the Rivas, the Malicoses, Queen Amidala's, the list goes on how many teams quickly occupy those slots in Grand Arena and Territory Wars. So when you're pirates and, you're kind of struggling with Commander Luke Skywalkers and General Anakin Skywalkers, it's going to be hard to turn heads and, build excitement. And of course, the big solution is, well, creating some sort of PvP content that expands that meta. And you could just expand Grand Arena and Territory Wars so they need more teams. I think there's more creative solutions to that, as I've brought up many times. I keep saying I gotta make a dedicated video on this. I literally think I have the idea that can solve not just 1, but like 3, 4, 5 problems all in one stone. But regardless of that, the here and now, we can all make wish lists on content that we wish would happen. The fact of the matter is, we don't have it. We're playing with the cards that were dealt to us. And the fact of the matter is, these 2 pirate teams, without Maz, without Hondo, they're not going to be very transformative for a Kyber 1 level account. However, I do want to say that shouldn't be your reason not to farm up a team, right? Just because even with the lack of PvP content, it makes it so many even newer teams are having a hard time being appreciated. Look at Mace Windu. He could be good in a different world, but the way that the gameplay is, it's hard to appreciate someone like him. It shouldn't be the reason why you don't get the pirates up and running. I feel very confident, I said this for many months, that once we get Maz, once we get Hondo, it's going to be a whole different ballgame, and we have plenty of instances proving that. The Hutt Cartel. The Hutt Cartel was not a good team building up the Jabba. Does that mean you don't farm Jabba? No, Jabba's one of the most important all-around galactic legends for the variety of things in the game. But yeah, they just kind of suck until you get Jabba. The Spectre, a little bit more recently so. The General Syndulla team, very lackluster, but that's not an excuse not to get Ahsoka. She's got a different set of problems. But anyway, still a galactic legend in her perfect sense of Ezra and the whole family put together. Okay, we're not going to go too much into the Ahsoka problem. Now, of course, there are better ways that they could have went about this whole Hondo, Maz Kanata rollout. Like, look, for example, Leia Organa. Her requirements, basically all of them were usable and loved. Look at, even Drogon was usable before Leia. Captain Rex was extremely usable. Oh gosh, that's how you release requirements for a Galactic Legend. You bring out these amazing one-banger characters that plug in, super all-around viable. Maybe Nisa's the weakest one out of all of them, but still, at least it lifted the Ewoks to something better. So I'm also not trying to give CG a cop out here and be like, you know, the Hut Cartel and the Spectre are bad, but the end goal is good. You can still make the journey to the end goal enjoyable. Yes, we're not expecting every character to be some top-tier crazy thing, but, you know, they could have easily maybe, I don't know, just getting wild for a second. Instead of 2 brand new pirate teams, maybe they could have added a pirate that, I don't know, lifted up some sort of scoundrel team that we have. Like, I don't know, make the prepared crew better. Again, just spitballing ideas off the hip. And of course, different times, but you know, when you look at the Resistance and First Order, the teams that we got leading up to the Galactic Legend, again, were actually usable. Better than Hut Cartel, better than Spectre. Even on today's standards, a Finn team and a Hux team are just a lot better if you think about it. Of course, back then it was also a lot easier to stand out because the meta and the character rosters were a lot smaller. You know, and we know this is ultimately where Capital Games has been trying to lead us for several months. It's sort of like watching a TV show that's like dragging on and on and on. It's like, where's the climax? Where's the payoff? And it finally happens, and I'm guessing that the payoff, the climax of all this is gonna be well worth it. But Maz Kanata's gonna be taking over Kix, Quiggled, and Captain Athano. And of course, Galactic Legend Hondo taking over Brutus, Vane, Captain Silvo. SM33, they told us can work in either, and I believe it. I think it's gonna be more likely that SM33 lands in the Pirate King Hondo Anaka team. They just maybe didn't want to stir the pot by saying, oh, SM33 is the must-have lifter. Because people are kind of getting a little burnt out of getting Galactic Legend. They feel like they need the lifter, like for example Ahsoka, Lord Vader. Between these two teams, let's say you don't have Maz Kanata and you don't have Pirate King Hondo Anaka, that's when I would say, you know, this team is not worth getting. I would only recommend getting these characters if you have Maz, if you have Pirate King Hondo Anaka. From a PvP standpoint, there are different incentives that we need to talk about as well from a PvE resource management standpoint. But between these two teams, I would say the Athano team or the pre-Maz Kanata team is by far the better way to rock these pirates. The characters that are meant for the Hondo Anaka team, Vane, Silvo, Brutus, not really all that hot. The shining force of this team so far has been Silvo, and I coined him as the Moff Gideon, OG Moff Gideon, where the only thing that matters is extremely good. So right now I pulled all my mods off Silvo, but I was able to get him to like, you know, 360 easily. Right in the modding suggestion, so let's put him at 340. At a minimum, he's going to be one of the first ones to go, and especially characters with high base speed, they're going to be earlier in the battle, and what's usually pretty ripe at the beginning of a battle, everyone's got like 80, 90+% turn meter because they're kind of organizing themselves based off their starting speed. This is where Captain Silvo's going to have a crazy amounts of turn meter gains, because with this, he removes all turn from the target enemy, and then all their pirate allies gain turn meter equal to the amount removed. So if an enemy had 90% turn meter, because it's basically turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, he's going to suck it all up, give it to your entire team. That is a massive boost in speed. And we can only assume that Pirate King Hondo Naka's kit, which likely comes next week, will probably have speed gains, turn meter gains of some sort. And the best part about it all, irresistible. Can't be evaded or resisted. That is a big, big deal. Which again makes him feel like a Moff Gideon. But it's kind of ironic. This kind of shows the 2025 mentality of designing characters in Galaxy of Heroes. If Moff Gideon was designed this year, he would be worded in a very similar way. Where if he was made in today's day and age, Control the Situation would say Imperial Remnant allies gain 25% turn meter, Imperial Remnant tanks taunt for 2 turns, Imperial Remnant attacker allies gain 50% offense, and blah, 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 right? It's a bit unfortunate because this is how you can make a character interesting, usable, until we lead up to whatever the end goal is. Like Silva, I think I'd be singing a lot more praise, even though I kind of like his kit now. I can kind of imagine the future. I think Silvo, if he was able to plug in, let's say, just scoundrels, not even saying everyone like Moff Gideon, maybe he was able to feed turn to all scoundrels. You know what? That's an interesting plug and play mechanic at our disposal. So it is partly a content issue, again, why it's hard to appreciate these characters, but it's also a design aspect for these characters that Siege has been getting a little too strict with. And those moments where we do get a character that kind of breaks the mold and allows us to have that plug and play fun, like Omega Fugitive, where she can reduce anybody's cooldowns. And I showed you guys a pretty gnarly turn 1 Darth Nihilus trick, which still is usable today. Siege got a little antsy about this, and they were considering nerfing this. So it's only for Bad Batch allies, but I think they let it slide because a lot of people ended up buying this character for that plug and play mechanism. But I digress. So if I was going to suggest, if you were someone that's building up the Hondo Naka and you want to get the most bang per buck for this team right now, it would probably be something like this, where Silvo can pump a lot of turn turn meter to your team. Kicks brings a lot of great healing. Thano for the lead. And if you have Hondo Onaka available, I would probably say you could probably take out one of these tanks, although Vayne is going to be very deadly inside of a Pirate King Hondo team. You can maybe go something like this. And if you have SM33 beforehand, you can plug him in. Yeah, you can maybe take out Hondo, plug him in, or take out Silvo, put Hondo back in. Something like this. But again, even with this hybrid state where we're kind of mixing two different pirate teams together, this isn't really a team that's really parting the 7 seas, dare I say. Even with their data crown, they're just okay. The data crown makes it at least semi-respectable, but of course that's artificial, and down the road, when the data crown for Kicks is gone, you got to deal with their mediocre performance in the meantime. So are the Pirates great before Hondo and Maz Kanata? I would say no. They got some cool stuff. SM33 hits like a mad lad. Silvo's got pretty solid turn meter gains. Ethano's got a decent lead until you get the Maz Kanata or Pirate King Hondo. Kicks with the revives, healing. But at the end of the day, until they can solve the problem of using more of your teams in meaningful ways, it's really hard to appreciate this team, and it's not an issue that's specific to the Pirates. And it's even not so much that maybe it was just a bad choice of era to double down on. This is something that's starting to spill over into other teams that we're seeing with Jedi Master Mace Windu. It's even also hard to sometimes make Bad Batch work. Really, the only team that's come out this year that kind of floated its way to the top guaranteed is Lord Vader Darkside clones. Otherwise, it's kind of rough. The only non-PvP aspect to look at is the fact that the Pirates are incredibly important, not just to unlock Hondo, but also we have the Pirate Air Battles, which gives its own amount of tons of resources, but we don't really know the future of air battles. Will they be repeatable? Let's say 1, 2, 3+ years down the road. How often? But we do know that Pirate King Hondo Naka's got a new Smuggler's Run coming, and there are a lot of theories as to what that new Smuggler's Run is going to bring. So though Pirates are kind of a tough pill to swallow as you build up to Maz and Hondo, just like we saw with Spectre, Hut Cartel, we'll find out the next week or so when Pirate King Hondo Naka drops if the payoff's gonna be worth it. But all I can say is that I'm hoping CG ends the year in a very solid way. In about 2 weeks, we'll know what the next era is for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Hopefully lessons can be learned from the Pirates, and more importantly, let's hope that maybe there's something down the pipeline that'll allow us to appreciate more of our characters than what is currently allowed in things like Grand Arena and Territory Wars. So thank you for stopping by today's video. Best of luck on your free packs. Hopefully they show up again for those that missed out on it. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing, and always remember, great to be in the Empire today. Great to be in the Empire today. The sun never set.